Scriabin's poem of Ecstasy is his most famous orchestral work and one of the absolute most aesthetically pleasing pieces to listen to ever written, in my opinion. In this video, we're going to analyze Scriabin's poem of Ecstasy in terms of background, narrative, structure, motifs, and harmony. Afterwards, I encourage you all to listen to the piece with my video of the score with highlighted themes. The poem of Ecstasy is one of the last pieces Scriabin wrote in his middle era, written between 1905 and 1908. He wrote it just before writing his fifth sonata, so I'd say Scriabin was in his prime at this time, writing his most famous works back to back. It's a 20-minute long piece for a large orchestra including 8 horns and 5 trumpets. He wrote a word poem to go along with the music, which I've made a video of reading the entire poem aloud. While Scriabin insisted the poem not be together with the musical score because he didn't want the conductor to be influenced by it, the poem definitely seems to relate to the music. The poem tells a story of a spirit's yearning for excitement and spiritual attainment. There's a reference in the poem to dark rhythm, which likely refers to this motif. The poem's structure reflects the ebb and flow of the music's intensity. The end of the poem depicts sexual craving in an elegant way that relates to the theme of spiritual attainment. It's as though sexual union is used as a metaphor for spiritual union with the divine, both of which bringing about ecstasy. The structure of the piece is in extended sonata form. Unlike almost all other Scriabin sonatas, this piece features a slow lyrical theme 1 and a powerful theme 2. The form is too complicated to break down in its entirety here, but I'll mention that theme 1 has an upbeat section used for contrast that perhaps resembles the part of the poem that says, "Spirit teasing, spirit caressing." Theme 2 always feels like a climax which features a solo trumpet. Theme 2 gets longer and longer in length with each appearance. On almost every occasion, the horn rhythmic motif appears before Theme 2, except for the surprise entrance into the development section. There's an epic climax led by the trumpets halfway through the piece before returning to the recap. The coda is long and drawn out with more and more iterations of Theme 2, and then there's a super duper epic climax at the very end, giving the Theme 2 motif to the giant horn section. When I make highlighted theme videos, they usually aren't an exhaustive list of motifs, and for this video I'm going to go over just a few of the most important motifs. The first motif presented is marked Languid Desire. The leaps in this motif are noticeable, outlining an augmented chord. The next most prominent theme 1 motif is marked Tranquility, often played by the clarinet. The upbeat section in the middle of theme 1 is marked Flying. Before theme 2 begins, the French horns play this motif, which is an augmented chord that begins with straight eighth notes that become subdivided triplets. Then we have the infamous theme 2 played by the trumpet, first marked with Noble Sweet Majesty. To me, this motif represents determination and strength of will, which is the catalyst that ultimately brings about ecstasy. This motif simply outlines a minor triad and then falls down a perfect fourth chromatically. You may notice that all these motifs utilize chromaticism, especially theme 2. I've heard it theorized that the half-step movement in this piece is meant to represent sexual pleasure. At the height of the first climax, the chromatic aspect of this motif is featured utilizing all 12 tones, which you can see analyzed in this video. This piece is definitely tonal, but we can see Scriabin pushing the boundaries of tonality in this work, as only a few works later his music becomes completely atonal. There's no mystic chord in this work, but there's a lot of use of the whole tone scale. The opening chord is a 9 chord without the 5th that belongs to the whole tone scale. The opening motif begins on the flat 6 of the chord and moves back and forth between the stable 5th scale degree and the flat 6 scale degree, creating a feeling of desire. Flat flat 13 chords like this are used throughout the work, along with moving in and out of the whole tone scale chromatically. Scriabin sets up whole tone chords at the bottom of the harmonic structure, and then when the melody notes move down chromatically, we feel the harmony moving between the longing of symmetrical whole tone chords and the stability of non-symmetrical chords. For much of the rest of the work, including Theme 2, Scriabin uses his signature middle era voicing of diatonic fourths. The poem of Ecstasy is a piece about longing desire and triumphant ecstasy. Theme 1 creates a feeling of languid longing with the use of whole tone chords. There's several overlapping motifs in Theme 1 using brilliant counterpoint. Theme 2 gives us the triumph of imperious will satisfying the desires of Theme 1. We can interpret 3 layers of metaphors existing simultaneously in this piece: musical, sexual, and spiritual tension and release. The climaxes in the piece truly creates the feeling of ecstasy in the listener. I'm teaching a course on composing like Scriabin in August, so if you enjoyed this video and you want to learn how to compose like Scriabin, check out the link in the description. I encourage you all to listen to the piece with my video of the score with highlighted themes. Join the Discord, like, comment, subscribe, and consider donating.